Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Richard Lewis Show. I'm your host, Richard Lewis. Joining me, as always, is my producer, Sam. And we're going to start off not on a good fucking note, because I'm absolutely livid. I'm fucking angry. And that's because I'm sure you all caught this story about a young white guy that got kidnapped by 4 people and was tortured on Facebook Live for an audience. And this was a young man who was, disabled, mentally impaired. And as I said, was tortured on social media for the benefit of an audience. And I've been saying the entirety of this show, when are we going to see a real fucking hate crime? Because I don't buy the idea that America's a dangerous place, that it's become any more filled with hate. We've seen hoax after hoax after hoax. We've seen people have to walk back when they report their numbers because the standard is appalling. We see organizations talking about Facebook posts with no other evidence. Just listen and believe that hate crimes took place. And then when we do get a hate crime, as you'll see, the groups that sort of control the message don't want to call it what it is. And it's abundantly clear what it is. If you missed this somehow, I say somehow, the crazy thing is, unfortunately, once again, the race-baiting mainstream media, they're going to make this about race. It's already about race, unfortunately. It has to be. It's unavoidable that we have to talk about it. Because the main thing that people said to me, and I think this is a ridiculous point, they said, can you imagine if 4 white people tortured a mentally ill black person? They would go absolutely wild. They would be outraged. You wouldn't be able to move. This is the only story you'd hear about. Okay, yeah, right. Good point. You've been conditioned. You've been conditioned by the mainstream media to make it about this. That's what they want to talk about. I'm not as interested in trying to talk about, black people, they get away with it. Look, listen. This is a fucking heinous crime, and it's a heinous crime that the mainstream media and all their narrative strands and bullshit are directly responsible for. And I mean directly, as sure as if they were in that fucking room themselves. These people that have done this don't even understand the gravity of it. I'm going to show you that. The police that investigated it tried to downplay what had happened because we've been on this fucking road of insanity for so long that people will try and justify this. And yes, there are racists out there, right? Just try and forget about that for a moment, if you can. Try and forget about all of the nonsense. And let's just look at this case as it is. This is a mentally handicapped person. I'm going to use the Daily Caller's report for this. The Daily Caller increasingly going up in my estimations. This is a mentally handicapped man who was tortured by 4 people, African American assailants. They tied him up. They put tape across his mouth. They hit him. They sliced him with a knife. They attempted to scalp him. They berated him, and they undressed him. They made him drink toilet water. They said, fuck Donald Trump, because this guy was supposedly a Trump supporter. I still have no idea if that's been verified by anything credible. They said, fuck white people, boy. Kicked him, laughed. And as I said, they did all of this filming it. They thought this was going to be okay. They thought this was going to be a goof. They honestly believed that. Now, how do we get into a situation where this many people can honestly think, 4 people, all of a similar mindset, in a room, literally thought, we will commit this heinous crime and we will stream it and broadcast it. I mean, the mind boggles. They made no attempt to hide their face. They honestly thought this was going to be all right. And this is why I want to point the finger at the mainstream media. Yeah, fuck the people that did it. Fuck them. They are disgusting human beings. I hope they fucking rot in jail. Hanging's too good for them. Right? As I said, as someone that's worked with people that have disabilities and the mentally impaired, to take somebody that fucking vulnerable and subject them to that is absolutely unforgivable. Unforgivable. And on top of that, let us not forget the small detail. And I'm sure it'll get discussed in court. He was only able to escape because people complained about the noise. We have no idea if they were going to let him go, if they planned to kill him, how far it was going to go. After neighbors called the police and there was a disturbance downstairs, he was able to get out. He had the wherewithal to be able to get out. Another detail that's being left out. But let's just try and understand how we even get to a position like this. And for me, it's definitely going to be laid at the feet of the mainstream media. They have gone fucking gaga the last 18 months. I mean, fucking insane. They are peddling narratives that do not make sense and infecting the brains of people to make them behave this way, to make them think and feel it is justified. This hate crime is the logical conclusion when you peddle the following lies. Lie 1, that only white people can be racist because the definition of racism doesn't apply and it's some strange form of societal algebra where it's privilege plus power times something else to the factor of bullshit. Lie number 1. Lie number 2, the left has infantilized black people and told them they cannot be held responsible for their actions because the system around them is so racist and so flawed that it makes them act this way, or that when they do act this way, it's pushback for something they've experienced all their lives. They are quick to justify the unjustifiable. Lie number 2. Lie number 3, that society only has problems because of white people. That in actual fact, as we've seen by all these people calling for white genocide, right? Which, yes, but don't white supremacists use that term? Yeah, and guess what? They're fucking morons as well. Since when did 2 fucking acts of stupidity somehow cancel each other out? Nah, don't work that way. The planet just gets more fucking stupid. Congrats, liberals. Then you've got lie number 3, right? That white people are the cause of all of society's ills, all of the planet's ills. And therefore, the entire world would be better off if white people were eradicated. Now, this isn't just some wild thing to throw out there. Yes, we've seen academics talk about the virtues of white genocide. And sure, they're using that term to kind of play on the whole thing that idiotic white supremacists believe, that, our racial purity has been somehow compromised, with mixed race kids and all of this other bullshit that no one with a fucking half a brain would believe. But there is this idea, you see it everywhere. Dear white guys, white people, when will you stop? White genocide. Literally, people believe that, we still live in an imperial era, that white people are still oppressing indigenous people, that white people are responsible for all slavery that ever existed, ever. Even though history flies, will show you complete nonsense to buy this. So the mainstream media is absolutely comfortable with this lie. They're the people that put it out there about toxic whiteness. how to cure it, as if it's something that's wrong. They are trying to fuck your mind to make you think that you need to apologize for being white. I can't help the way God made me. Does that sound familiar? It's ridiculous. But there it is. We see that every day, that being white is somehow wrong, and that therefore anybody who does anything bad to white people, because remember, white people can't be persecuted, they'll get a pass. They'll get a pat on the back, actually. And a lot of the times, the media will make excuses for crimes that are committed against white people. They will try and make those excuses. Lie number 4, and I know you've seen this one in the media. Donald Trump is the most racist political figure since Hitler. Hitler being a man who rounded up Jews, gays, anybody that he didn't like the look of, Polish people, put them in internment camps and killed them. Somehow Donald Trump is on a par with him, and therefore by extension, every person who voted for or vocalized his support of him is not just a racist, but somehow also endorses a political figure that is as bad as Hitler. Now, we see this every day. Every day. We've seen it every day for 18 months. I don't know what the evidence for this is. I am still waiting on this smoking gun evidence about Donald Trump being a racist. This is Donald Trump, an incredibly wealthy man who lives in New York, a city populated. It's one of, with black people. It's one of the most multicultural cities in the world. It's got people from all sorts of backgrounds. You're telling me if you believed in white supremacy, you would choose to live in New York? I don't think so. I've seen photos of Donald Trump with black leaders down the years before he was a politician. I've seen him with black figureheads. He was a person who changed his golf courses to allow black people to compete, to play in them. Yet somehow, he's like Adolf Hitler all of a sudden. He has a meeting with Kanye West to discuss how can we improve the lot of black people in America. What do the left do? They push Kanye out. Oh, well, Kanye's Uncle Tom. A racist term, by the way. Never any evidence for this. Never. Yet the mainstream media literally smear anybody who vocalizes support for Donald Trump as being a white supremacist. If someone can show me one quote, just one, that's all I've ever wanted, just one quote, where Donald Trump says the white race is superior to any and all other races on this planet, because that is the core essence of white supremacy. The clue is in the fucking name, you morons. If anybody can show me that, I will retract everything I've said, I will recant everything I've said, and I will produce a video which basically says I was completely wrong, Hillary Clinton was the better option. You're never going to be able to do it. No one's going to be able to do it. Line number 5. Very popular lie. Black Lives Matter activists are always peaceful. They're not rioters, they're protesters. They're always peaceful, even when they are doing things that would be condemned if it was any other group. And we have seen the mainstream media embrace Black Lives Matter. We've seen hands up, don't shoot, which does put immense pressure on the police. And anybody who's watched my videos knows that, yeah, the police are out of fucking control in America. I'd like to see some schemes where, they don't get to push back. They don't get a choice on whether or not they're cammed up. I do want to see judges prosecute rogue policemen because they're in such a minority that they make it harder for actual people who do want to give back into their communities. That, black police officers get it twice as worse than anybody else because they are considered to be sellouts because of these corrupt police officers. Meanwhile, Black Lives Matter activists have been involved in all sorts of violent protests. And yet you're not allowed to say that. Because if you say that, you are a racist. You don't believe Black Lives Matter. I do believe Black Lives Matter, same as I believe any life matters. I believe in the application of human rights to all humans the world over. Why do we need to single people out? And I'm sick and tired of hearing the argument, oh, but you wouldn't go up to a cancer patient who was campaigning for cancer awareness and tell him, yeah, but AIDS patients have it bad. It's not the fucking same. This is divisive identity politics. This leads to ill feeling. This causes friction and problems. And certainly it does when anybody with a brain can watch and see a group of people behaving terribly and nobody wants to condemn them. So that's lie number 5. Lie number 6. America is now a more dangerous place for minorities than it has been since the height of the civil rights movement. Do you remember after Donald Trump was elected, the spate of fake hate crimes that were reported, the articles that were written by journalists saying, I don't know if it's safe anymore, the ridiculous stories about how people wanted to emigrate to Canada, which, by the way, you couldn't do because Canada has the kind of immigration laws that Donald Trump has proposed. You couldn't get there. It's not more dangerous. By any metric or measurement, we are a more integrated society than we ever have been. That racism is almost an anachronistic thing of the past. That's why they have to pretend the Ku Klux Klan is alive and well, that they're out there riding on horses still, stringing people up in white hoods with burning torches. That is not what a modern white supremacist organization looks like. That's not how they operate. But in the absence of being able to find real ones, they find some fucking idiotic bumpkins that just hold on to the past and put them. Yep, there they are. Look, there they are. There's flyers everywhere. Yeah, liberals printed those. It's a false flag, you dumb motherfuckers. There is nothing. You cannot compare the 50s to the time we live in now. It's bullshit. It's a lie. Now, unfortunately, those 6 lies have been peddled so much by the mainstream media that people believe them. People honestly think all of those things are true. And when you combine all of those lies, guess what happens? You are saying it is okay to attack Donald Trump supporters because you are on the right side of history. You are saying that black people shouldn't be held accountable for their actions because ultimately a Donald Trump supporter is a racist, and therefore that simple act of vocalizing support for a legitimate presidential candidate is somehow a racist provocation. These people broadcast their crime without covering their faces, without shame, because they thought the mainstream media would have their back and would champion them as heroes. And you know what's fucked up? It's happening. It happened. People didn't want to call this what it was, which was a hate crime. This person was attacked for his political beliefs, unconstitutional. It was attacked for the color of his skin. Hate crime. The fact that he's mentally ill, the fact that he's got a severe mental handicap, it just makes it all the more disgusting. That is what they were able to enact. And as I said, we don't know how far they would have gone with this. He escaped. He wasn't released. It wasn't a point. This could have easily escalated into a murder. Of course, let's not talk about that, right? Let's not speculate about that. So as reported by Fox News, okay, when this was still breaking, the police came out and said at 7:45 a.m., the Chicago police said they don't believe the man was targeted because he was white, even though the people doing it were saying, fuck white people and fuck Donald Trump. I don't understand what the debate is here. I don't understand how any police force worth their salt, and we know with all the problems in fucking Chicago, they ain't worth their salt. It's like, look, if I said, okay, here's a crime. A white guy beat a black person to death saying fuck N-word and other racial epithets. Is it a hate crime? Nobody in their right mind would go, oh, well, I don't think there's any evidence there of that. You would unequivocally agree that this was a hate crime. Why is it that when it goes the other way, we have to pretend it's not a hate crime? Are the police now going to start embracing this nonsense that black people can't be racist? Is that how the police are going to operate? So we're literally going to create a set of laws that can only be used to convict white people. Is that what we're going to do? Because that is fucking nonsense. Then the superintendent is his rank. They came out, and this is according to the Daily Caller, who has certainly been doing good coverage of this story. Eddie Johnson, the police superintendent, came out and said, this is fucking insane, Sam. This literally just blows my fucking mind. If you look at that video, it's just stupidity.
I like to call it torture, mate, but sure.
Do you know what I mean? How can you dismiss a mentally incapacitated individual being tortured, thinking he's going to be killed? What must be going through that kid's mind, and you're going to just dismiss that as stupidity? It's weird, right? Because I always got told it was white people that benefited from the chivalry factor. The boys will be boys. That's what I was raised to believe. That's what the mainstream media still peddles to this day. Yet here we have Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson of Chicago, who, by the way, after these statements, should resign. It's not enough that he's presided over the fucking mess that is Chicago. We showed you on the last show, just gunshots, gunfire, just ringing out like you're in a fucking war zone after dark. I talk to people in Chicago. People are literally afraid to go out in certain neighborhoods because they think they're going to catch a stray bullet. God only knows what it's like for the people who live in those neighborhoods. And you've got the fucking balls as a police superintendent who is responsible for not fixing that problem. You keep your fucking head down like your civilians have to, surely. But no, you're going to put your head up and you're going to say something stupid like, yeah, well, when white guys get tortured like that by 4 black people, it's just a bit of stupidity, just a bit of harmless fun. You're a fucking disgrace. You should be immediately stripped of your job. You are not fit for fucking purpose. You'll notice, by the way, there's no witch hunt to get that cunt fired after saying something that appalling. Think about the victim's family. Think about what it says to them. Yeah, we'll take this very seriously, but our gut feeling is it's just a bit of stupidity, just a bit of silliness. Yeah, you were fearing for your son's life, but, not us. We knew it was going to be okay. But again, you won't see this in the papers. No one's gunning for Eddie Johnson's job. No one's demanding he must resign. You got a few petitions, on the internet. Petition ain't never changed shit since the dawn of time. But this guy's just allowed. He's just, that's it. Yeah, you say whatever the fuck you want. Say whatever ridiculous, thoughtless shit. Show that you don't even understand, that you don't even have a handle on what's going on in America, let alone fucking Chicago. And, he says here as well, when asked, do you think it's politically motivated? No. Fuck Donald Trump. Why are they saying that then? Were they bored? Were they trying to get more hits on Facebook? What do you think that is for? Donald Trump, political candidate, president-elect. The victim, supporter of Donald Trump, presidential candidate, president-elect. You don't see the political motivation here? You don't need to be fucking Columbo. What the fuck is this? What a fucking inept piece of shit that guy is. And it's interesting because, I hear about this a lot, right? Like, nobody wanted to condemn what the people were saying. While they were torturing this white guy, Nobody wanted to condemn any of the rhetoric used by Black Lives Matter, any of the rhetoric used by the mainstream media. Remember those 6 fucking lies I just outlined to you? Nobody wants to condemn that. But it's weird, right? Because when Donald Trump was saying, I'm going to build a wall somehow became a racist slogan. Even though other political candidates had advocated for the building of a wall. And what did they say all through the election cycle? Dangerous rhetoric. It's dangerous rhetoric. It encourages violence. We've got evidence here now that the Black Lives Matter movement rhetoric has encouraged this violence. Is anyone going to condemn it? No, of course not. Absolutely not. And you can see, if you go over to the New York Daily News, there's a guy called Sean King. I'm sure if you follow my show, you know who he is. This is a guy who is white and pretends to be black, and then talks about the black movement. It's really embarrassing. I saw guys like this at college. I never thought I would see one held credible, in the political sphere. I never thought anyone would give credence to the views of someone like this. Someone who is transracial. Never thought that would happen. So anyway, Talcum X, as we like to call him, he fucking ponies up. Look at this. Stop using the attack on a mentally challenged white man in Chicago to promote a racist agenda against Black Lives Matter. Why? First of all, why would it have to be racist? I just don't agree with your methodology or message. It's got nothing to do with the fact that it happens to be a black group. There are white members of Black Lives Matter, right? So how is it racist? Ridiculous. Just more race baiting from a guy who has used his fake race to be able to hold himself up principally as chief of the race baiters. And if you read this column, it's unbelievable just how he tries to deflect, right? First of all, he talks about his story about how a racist mob of young white men beat him so badly he missed 18 months of high school recovering from 3 spinal surgeries and fractures to his face and ribs. He's told this lie a bunch. What's amazing is there's a lot of evidence that, is out there that suggests he just had scoliosis and wasn't beaten at all. Here's the thing. How the fuck would I know this guy was black if I was a racist? He's whiter than me. He's walking down the street. Hey, what's up, black guy? He's white as fuck. He's so white.
If that did happen, the only way it did happen is like, that's a weird kid that calls himself a trans race. Let's go beat him. That might have happened. That's believable.
Right. So he brings himself into it. No one cares, mate. Your story's full of fucking holes. Right. Then he goes, I hate violence. Nearly 100 people are killed with guns per day in this country. Yep. Pretty sure some of the people in that Facebook video were waving guns around, a bit partial to gun violence. Every 98 seconds, someone is sexually assaulted in this country. Relevant. Hate crimes are on the rise from coast to coast. Not. Our incoming president of the United States admitted that he sexually assaults women. Didn't happen.
Yeah, mad didn't happen.
When did that happen? When did that happen? I think he said, if you're a celebrity, you can just grab them by the pussy. How is that an admission? Yeah, I sexually assault women all the time. Women all over the country came forward to allegedly confirm it. None of it stuck. None of it's gone to court. No proof. Unbelievable. So on he goes. And then he says, I see thousands of white folk online asking me why I'm not speaking out about this crime. And then it's like, well, beyond the fact I just got back in the country a few hours ago, I was too busy to comment on this crime that, is the kind of thing that I would have raced home to write about if it was 4 white people torturing a mentally ill and mentally handicapped, fucking black person. I would have jumped out of a plane with a fucking parachute on, GTA 5 style, to fucking through his window. Straight onto his keyboard, you know what I mean? Like the fucking the milk tray or whatever, the milk tray guy. As soon as I clicked on the first official story about the incident, I saw that 4 people had already been arrested for it. If more people were involved, whether it was 2 more black folk or 20, guess what? They'll be charged and arrested and convicted and sentenced in jail for it as well. Oh, that's all right then. So as long as they get processed by the justice system, nothing to see here. That's really odd because you take a stance on hate crime. You take a stance on the rise of hate crime and how it's terrible and how it's ravaging this country. I guess it's only a big deal for you. By the way, he's got a title where he calls himself Senior Justice Writer. This piece of shit just joined the Young Turks as well. You know, like the Young Turks, it was a bad year. Like 2016 was a bad fucking year for the Young Turks. And they were just like, you know, we've really got to start getting our credibility back. Even Alex Jones is killing us on YouTube right now. What should we do? Hey, you know that dude who pretends he's black? Let's get him. You know that race-baiting piece of shit who publishes Facebook hate crimes without any substantiating evidence whatsoever and then professes that they're absolutely true just because someone plucked them out of their fucking diseased brains? Why don't we get him on a news show? Sounds good to me. Let's fucking go all in. Brilliant. So, there you go. And he goes, the country does not need me to speak out on crimes committed by black folk because nobody in this country is held more responsible for the crimes they commit and even crimes they don't commit than black folk in America. Sound.
He's whipped it round. He's done a full 360.
Sound. There's no need
this is racist.
Yeah, there's no need to condemn these people. I speak out on injustice. What happened to this man in Chicago was terrible. It was criminal. I hate it. But guess what? Justice was swift. Miraculously swift.
Definitely would. You had to wait until there was a distraction so we could run out the house.
Yeah. And I've just shown you as well, by the way. It's so miraculously swift. Superintendent of Chicago's fucking police. Nah, it's a bit of banter.
It's just a goof, man. It was all a goof.
Justice is always swift when black folk mess up. But you know who's not in jail right now? George Zimmerman. Come on, what is this?
What is that about?
Yeah, the Sean King's greatest hits.
He just reaches into a bag and it's got like George Zimmerman, white priority. White
and then
privilege.
look at this. Look at this. Just Tuesday, a video surfaced of a police officer in North Carolina high school slamming a petite 15-year-old black girl so hard on her head that he gave her a concussion. Is he in jail? Nah, he's on paid leave. It's a fucking police officer. They never go to jail. Doesn't matter what they do. More white people get killed by police. Unreal. I can't even read the rest of it, mate. Because it is just like, yeah, Black Lives Matter sound. Not going to see here. Rhetoric. All bad. And then look at this. I have never heard one person in the Black Lives Matter movement mock the disabled. You know who I have seen mock the disabled? Donald Trump. Like, come on.
Got him.
Got him. What is this, though?
What now?
What is this, though? What is this, though? And then this fucking absolute piece of shit has the audacity to quote Martin Luther King. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And then he tries to factor it in why he doesn't really give a fuck. This young man doesn't need hashtags blaming me or a movement. No one was blaming you, by the way, Sean. No one gives a fuck about you. You brought yourself very much to this party. He needs compassion and counseling. He also doesn't need me advocating for justice. It'll soon drop like Thor's hammer. Brilliant. Good job, mate. Good job. Now, okay, so bit of audio for you. So no one wants to condemn the rhetoric. Sean King's coming in saying, don't take it out on Black Lives Matter, even though there's clear overlap there. So, you know, some of the people involved had espoused support for the Black Lives Matter movement. It certainly was politically motivated because they were saying fuck Donald Trump while they were doing it. And it was certainly racially motivated because they were saying fuck white people while they were doing it. But again, we ended up with all sorts of nonsense around this. CBS Radio actually tried to put it out there into people's brains who may not have been paying attention to the story that somehow the torturers were white and the victim was black. No, Richard, that's crazy. That would never happen. How the fuck could they do that? Here's what they did. They didn't describe the race of anybody that was involved. But they did say that the N-word was used while the person was being tortured. They did all they could just to fucking subvert it. It's ridiculous, by the way, that this happened. This is like so irresponsible and so transparent in what they're trying to do. It'll make you sick. Roll this.
The viral video of a beating and knife attack in Chicago suggests the assault had racial overtones. CBS's Dean Reynolds tells us the victim is described as a mentally challenged teenager.
Smack him again.
In the video, he is choked and repeatedly called the N-word. His clothes are slashed and he is terrorized with a knife. His alleged captors repeatedly reference Donald Trump.
Police are holding 4 people in connection with the attack.
How fucking ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? That he is repeatedly called the N-word. How leading is that? And these are the people that have the audacity to take a stance on fucking fake news. And yet you are going to do that. You're going to put that out into the public domain, are you? People who might be just listening to the radio as they're driving, maybe at work, right? And the only information they get about this story might be that report. And you're going to leave out the crucial details and make it seem that it was a black person being tortured by white people to serve your fucking political agenda. What a fucking disgrace. What an absolute fucking disgrace. You know, I've never seen anything like that. Then, right, here we go. Salon, of course, which, you know, I've said this many times. I am convinced that in much the same way, we've seen a lot of these fake news sites funded by leftists and liberals to put information out that the right will support and want to believe. And then when they do, they get condemned. I'm convinced Salon is actually funded by the right wing. It's got to be. It's too stupid. Their publication, things that they publish. Don't let racists fool you. The Chicago kidnapping isn't about Black Lives Matter. It's about the violence faced by people with disabilities. So it was nothing to do with the fact he was white. It was nothing to do with the fact he was a Trump supporter. These 4 black people just decided out of the blue to torture somebody who was disabled.
Even though they never mentioned anything about being disabled in the video. Never.
Didn't say fuck spastics, did they?
Him, yeah.
Didn't say fuck spastics. Didn't call him a cripple. You know? Didn't use any offensive epithets of any kind based on his disabilities. But I suppose we should just go with what Salon is saying. And interestingly enough, you know, they seized upon, again, another thing we've said on this show, the left will trot out Richard Spencer, who some people have accused him of being like almost like a fucking CIA, plant, because he's so stupid in the shit he says. It's so overtly racist that nobody could possibly support his position on a lot of things unless you are a white supremacist or certainly a white nationalist. And all they want to talk about here is what Richard Spencer said. This isn't even the first instance of terrorism against whites by anti-Trump Black Lives Matter supporters in Chicago, Spencer said on the day that it happened. Remember the Black Lives Matter kidnapping every time a journalist lies about my white advocacy organization and calls it a hate group. Well, it is a hate group, and you certainly are a white advocacy group. I don't want to get into the debate about the rights and wrongs of that. I think it's retarded. Again, I can't make my views clearer. And on it goes. And they do pretty much what Sean King did. They start talking about, but all these other crimes that happen. We won't condemn this crime. We're going to talk about all these other crimes. But this was definitely nothing to do with him being white. Definitely nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Definitely not politically motivated. And it was just because he was disabled, and that's how bad that disabled people have it. And you in the patriarchy, you able-bodied cis white pigs, it's all about you again. So what else fucking happened? Well, this was a bit of a strange one. and this was Time. They talked about the other tragedy of the Chicago torture video. The other tragedy of the Chicago torture video, well, what could it be? I mean, what could be more tragic, more awful than what happened to the victim? And again, this idea of swift justice being dispensed, when in actual fact, we've had police and now media, all provably, you've seen, I've laid this out for you, defending what happened, or certainly at best refusing to condemn the perpetrators. And he says, I've got a hard time. I'm having a hard time trying to compartmentalize my feelings about the videotape torture of this precious young man. Let me tell you why. One, while it's clearly reprehensible, the unrelenting media focus on this random incident is, to my mind, unbalanced and unwarranted.
I'm waiting for the but. I'm waiting for the but.
It's unbalanced and unwarranted. In what world is it unbalanced and unwarranted? Right? Is it the same world where crimes that didn't happen have made front page news? Where you've got YouTube pranksters being obnoxious on planes, filming each other, going, trying to scare everyone on a fucking Delta flight. And then when they're asked to leave for causing a disruption, they say, I've been kicked off for speaking Arabic to my friend. And the BBC and all these other organizations put it out, Delta's a racist airline. They didn't even hesitate. All you had to do was look at this piece of shit's YouTube channel, and you would see he's lied about smuggling himself in planes, undermining plane security, making people afraid in a time when terrorist attacks are more likely than ever. Do you know what I mean? This guy's an asshole. But everyone was like, oh, God, Delta. Blah, blah, blah. I hope Delta fucking sue him and put that fucking piece of shit in the poorhouse. Literally, I hope I'm walking past him and I see that cunt selling pencils in a paper cup. Fuck him. Right? But no, it's unbalanced and unwarranted. Not like when we cover those fake hate crimes that don't happen, and we don't even bother with the follow-up story or the retraction. If this had been the other way around, it would still be in the news right now. And then he talks about, social media commentary, and he goes, I wonder how many of them are just as outraged and outspoken about the regular harassment and abuse of black teenagers and other black citizens at the hands of police? The two aren't linked. The two aren't linked. You wouldn't possibly say, well, there's a hate crime happening over here, but have you ever thought about, how bad it is that, white people, they're being, you wouldn't do it. They're not linked. They're not linked at all. It's a hate crime. That's police harassment. I don't have to support one or the other. I can be against both, can't I? Because they're not fucking linked. That's how real easy it is to see how not linked they are. Oh, I'm against that over there. Does that preclude me from being against that? Oh, no, it doesn't. They're not linked. 2, how do you think these kids came up with the idea to broadcast this wicked torture scenario? You think they just made it up in their heads? We all know from whence it came. The movies they watch and the video games they play. Ooh, video games.
I remember that from the
back
last
to
pod.
this shit. Is this the fucking 80s? Is this what we're saying? We won't condemn the media for stoking a fucking powder keg of racial divide and telling one side of the divide, go fucking nuts. We'll never condemn you. And then when this happens, when that plays out to its grotesque, logical conclusion, you blame it on movies and video games. Why not magazines? Why not papers? Why not news channels? Why is it just movies and video games? Why are they the only invasive media that can fuck up my brain? But not a news cycle filled with lies. That's okay. Let's just fucking ignore that. That's fine. That doesn't do any damage to anyone's fucking psyche. But if I watch fucking Saw 8 it's torture porn, and all of a sudden I'm a sick fuck. Nonsense. To have the audacity to fucking write that. Video games did it. Fuck Donald Trump. I've got to play that game. What game's that from? Anyone got that game? Can I have that game? The fuck Donald Trump game? Is there a fuck white people game I can play?
Can I play the race war simulator, please?
Yeah. Anyone got that? Civ 7, race war. That's it. Like, you don't even, you know what I mean? You don't even just pick a leader. You just choose a color. That's it. And then you just have to wipe everyone else off the face of the map. Fucking, what nonsense is this? I'll skip to 4. Because it's just about the cops in 3. 4. Why do we front like we really care about the mentally ill? Fake news, fake blues. We really don't care about their plight. Well, all right, okay. Maybe we don't care about their plight. We care about his plight. We care about his plight. Because he was mentally ill and he was tortured for days. Made to drink out of a toilet, scalped, kicked, abused, beaten. Yeah? Can we care about his plight? Is that all right? You see, what you're missing here is, you fucking Momo. What you're missing is that you're right. It's not that he's disabled. That's the cherry on a cake made of shit. The fact that he was tortured at all is disgusting and deplorable and reprehensible. All the things you will not call it. The fact that now he's disabled, doesn't that just make it all the more grotesque? So you're right, it was never about this. You know, and I would wager, actually, you do a great disservice to a lot of American people who do care about the disabled and the mentally ill. But what can we do? We're taxed to the hilt. We live in austere times. We've got the media pumping into our heads that if you talk to a homeless person, they're probably fucking schizophrenic and an ex-military person with fucking PTSD carrying a combat knife, which is the only possession they have in the world, and they need it to survive on the cold, cold fucking streets. And if you go over and, you know, you get a little bit too close and you try to have a conversation with them, they're going to fucking gang rape you at knife point, or maybe just fucking behead you, put it on their fucking erection and parade around and down, you know, in the streets because you've got us all terrified. This is why we're too scared to just reach out to the fellow man. You can push, you know, think about it. There was just a story just the other day. A couple missed their train and a homeless dude said to them, like, hey, you look cold, you know, here, I got a spare blanket because they had to stay there overnight or something. And then they thanked him for it. And they said, hey, why didn't you come back to our place? And they got him cleaned up. They gave him somewhere to stay, helped him get a job, right? 2 humans having a reciprocal moment. And seeing past the status and the divide. Most of us will never do that. Most of us will never have that moment. Most of us will never trust enough to reach out and let a stranger into our home because we're told that these people are somehow bad. These people are somehow failures. These people are somehow evil, despicable. There's got to be something wrong with them because the system can't be wrong. They have to be wrong. The system can't be wrong. So maybe it's the problem of the people that peddle that fucking message and just drill it into your fucking head. But no, we won't condemn them, right? You know? Maybe if you guys actually took a fucking stance on it and did something about this, like the homeless crisis that we're all facing. But, you know, let's be real. The media don't care about it. It's only a story when people are running for fucking office. And it's bullshit. And then 5, I mean, you know, again, I don't know what it is. The journalists, like, when I studied journalism, Sam, there wasn't a course, there wasn't a module in my degree where it was like, hey, by the way, if you really want to look like you're a fucking idiot, always end your article in a completely stupid, pithy way, which just cuts through any important things you might have been trying to say in the article itself. You know, we always got told that, yes, you can have a one-liner, but try and avoid it being too sensational, whatever. Let the work speak for itself. Good, solid, you know, writing. 5, a not-so-bold prediction here, finally, It won't be long before Donald Trump sends out another stupid tweet, the NFL playoffs begin, the Golden Globes are awarded, or frankly, just about anything else happens that pushes this story out of the headlines and we're on to the next. We came, we saw, we screamed, we tweeted, we turned the page. But hang on, dude, right? You said in this piece that you wrote yourself, your words, that you felt the outrage and the coverage was disproportionate. So what is it? Are you saying we shouldn't just turn a blind eye to this because it's horrifying? Or are you saying that actually we've disproportionately focused on it and it's time to move on? Because unlike the two things you were talking about earlier, they are fucking contradictory, you fucking cretin. You can't think both of those things. But apparently you can if you write the time. Ridiculous. Now, just when you think, oh, nah. It's got to be over. The madness has got to be over. No, my friends. The madness. We're humans. We can sink as low as the fuck we want. It's fine. We can bottom out. Not a big deal. So somebody has created a Facebook page, okay? Free Brittany Herring of the Chicago Four. I mean, first of all, they're calling them the Chicago Four, like they've been wrongfully imprisoned, like they're the fucking A-team or something, you know what I mean? And we got to go break those cunts out. Nah, dog. Nah, they did it. They filmed themselves doing it. They were morons. They're going to go to jail for a long, long time. And thank fuck for that, because people like that are dangerous and shouldn't be on the fucking streets. And I tell you what, if I was them, sure, I don't want them to get out. I'd like to see them sue the media for putting this bullshit in their fucking head. I'd like to see that. You know, I love it when the fucking left eats its own. It's so satisfying to me. But here's this Facebook page. Just have a look at some of the shit on this page, right? Every cop I know of is some kind of dirty crook anyway. I mean, that's all of them, right?
Yeah, well,
the whole system is rigged against our people, and everyone knows it. No justice, no peace. Free Brittany Herring, BLM. That's Black Lives Matter, in case you didn't know. It's not a type of sandwich. Scroll down. Let my people go.
Fucking hell.
Black Lives Matter. From what? Let them go from what? What do you want? That's from fucking Moses and Pharaoh when they were like literally enslaved, building pyramids and shit. Let my people go. Last time I checked, and there's no pyramids being built. Scroll down. You can see here, she says, she points out a post by Curtis Tyler. I'm very proud we've donated to a great cause. I'm fed up with white America KKK, and I believe the Chicago Four are the newest victims of whites blaming blacks for something they didn't do. What the fuck is this? CGI?
It was all a social experiment.
CGI? Money well spent. I hope all of my friends will donate what they can to help this innocent young lady. And the Free Brittany Herring of the Chicago Four Facebook post says, it's true patriots like Curtis who helped bring about the change that is sweeping across this country. Yeah, it's a real good change. I'm really liking this change. I'm really liking, the idea that should, you have a relative who is a Trump supporter and also happens to be mentally handicapped, that maybe he too will be abducted and kept in a house and tortured to cleanse him of his wrong and racist beliefs. I like that. That's a great movement. Let's have that movement sweep across the country like fucking wildfire, please. Together, the black movement can't be stopped and our people cannot be defeated. By the way, I haven't met a single black person that has come out and had anything but condemnation for this. Not one. I haven't met one person who has tried to apologize, like saying, but there's all these things going on. There's no excuses, no rationalization, just condemnation. It's almost as if we're all people at the fucking end of the day. But the media will make those fucking excuses. Kings and queens were made to rule. Yeah, whatever. Don't know what that's got to do with anything. And on it goes. This was a good one. I like this post, mate. It's no secret that white people have all kinds of weird bondage and domination fetishes. This white boy paid Britney to be his dominatrix and willfully went home with her. He asked for this. She didn't do anything that he didn't ask her to do. Typical white media and white America, KKK, would rather frame Britney for a crime instead of calling out the white person for their twisted sexual desires.
That's a massive didn't happen.
Just the premise of it, though. Just the premise of it. Like, I mean, let's say it was true. It's not. It didn't happen. But let's say it was. Right? I have paid a dominatrix to come and stamp on my balls or whatever the fuck it is that gets me off, right? And halfway through, 3 of her boys just fucking burst in, tie me up, start scalping me, and that, and I'm saying the fucking safe word, banana. Your safety word is pineapple, isn't it, right? And they're just like, yeah, we're just going to carve a little swastika on your skull. Fuck Donald Trump.
You love it. Then I'm looking at you, dirty bastard.
Like, Jesus Christ. That's not how it works. Anyway. I think we can put that all to bed. Now, I'm going to show you guys something because, I'm sick of hearing about racist society, racist America, how we're all secretly racist and we all hate, but it's just none of it's true. There's never really any outside of this like lunatic fringe, people holding on to this anachronistic white supremacist bullshit, or deliberately doing it to try and fucking troll people like Richard Spencer, and just get a load of attention because he knows the media will give it to them. Let me show you actually. About what people who believe in racial purity, like when that is the defined cultural norm. Let me show you what it looks like, because I don't think you saw this, did you, Sam?
No, I don't think so.
And this blew my mind. I got sent this by a friend of mine from the Czech Republic. He swears, he vouches for its veracity. And I mean, I don't even know how to pronounce this publication. Britsky Listy.
Maybe.
I don't know if this is like the Czech Republic equivalent of BuzzFeed or something, but whatever. We'll find out. And it was like Lidl supermarket. Now, for those who don't know, me and Sam know what Lidl is. We're kids. We're products of Lidl, right? But for those who don't know, Lidl is a supermarket that's incredibly cheap. It's designed to give people who are maybe impoverished or not in the middle class the ability to be able to buy things, make their money go a little bit further, and get some like kind of occasionally designer goods, like when there's been a surplus or something falls out of season. But more often than not, they kind of look a little bit like the designer stuff, but they're not the same quality. They don't have that brand name attached to it, and you can buy them, and they're very functional, and they do clothes and obviously food and booze and all the other stuff that you might need, toiletries and whatever. And that's what Lidl is. And as a result, there's parts of Eastern Europe where it's a pretty popular store, because we all know how some Eastern European countries have suffered economically in recent times. And indeed, it's true in the UK as well. That's not being disparaging. The rise of stores like Lidl, Heron, because even Iceland Aldi. Iceland might be a little bit out of your price range, I mean, people are getting handouts from fucking soup kitchens and food parcels in the UK, record numbers. So anyway, this was reported on Twitter by Philip Hawkey, or maybe Hawkey, I don't know. Many hate comments against Lidl in the Czech Republic. They used a black man for their advertisement leaflet this week. And he says even chemtrails mentioned. Don't know what that is, but okay. But basically, this is what they did. They had a catalog and, advertising their goods, and they had a black person wearing some clothes. Now, this happens every day in the West, doesn't it, right? In America, the supposedly racist society, nobody blinks. It is a black person advertising some clothes. We have black people here. Black people wear clothes. Makes sense, right? Not a problem. Czech Republic, which, by the way, I've been there, has black people as well. But this is what when the culture is promoting this idea of white supremacy, this is what it looks like. People jumping out. And I'm not saying this applies to all Czech Republic people, by the way, but I find it hard to believe that there would be any blinking of eyes over this. Why do you have a Negro in your advertising leaflet? Are you aware that you have thus made many people angry? Our people hate these layabouts and parasites and are afraid of them. If you want to advertise your wares in the Czech Republic and for the Czechs, remove this multicultural crap. So far, this is still our own country, and by using this type of advertising, you will alienate many of our patriots who are your customers. And there's another one. I am quite disgusted. And again, these are all translations. I don't speak Czech. I'm quite disgusted. The media are trying to force multiculturalism on us, which has totally failed and is a target genocide of the white race. And now you have used a Negro in your advertising leaflet? We like to shop in your supermarket, but please avoid multiculturalism in your leaflets, thank you. Polite. I have a question. Why are you constantly using, and then in capitals, Negroid models in your leaflets for the Czech Republic? Don't you think this is too much? I expect a leaflet for the Czech Republic to feature typically Czech characters and not some multicultural imports. I won't say the word. Why is a N-word in your catalogue again? You think you are advertising in Africa? Or is this because you are bothered that the Czechs shop in your supermarkets? Right? And Lidl had to issue a response. So, again, I'm not saying all people in the Czech Republic are like this. I've been there. I like the Czech Republic. It's good. But certainly I can't imagine an outcry like this in the UK. I can't imagine an outcry like this in America. And that's just, because cultures are different and people have different levels of what they think is acceptable and ideas about the way their country should go. And people are going to express those ideas. This would be completely unacceptable. It's unacceptable in my eyes. But what I'm saying is nobody would sit down and fucking type this out. I don't even think, even if they thought it. And I don't think anyone thinks it because I think we've actually integrated quite well. Certainly I lived in Birmingham, one of the most multicultural cities in Britain. And I've already talked about New York, and I live here in Atlanta now, and that's a multicultural city. So Lidl issued the following statement. Dear customers, considering that the Czech Republic is a part of Europe and people of many different nationalities and different colors of skin live in Europe, we regard the models in advertising leaflets as perfectly being in order. So, it just happened. And then if you scroll right down, somebody made, is this what you wanted? Instead of having a black person, this is a typical Czech model. And you can see it's some guy who's got a disturbingly similar physique to me. With just, I don't know, spicy sausage. Is that lard or butter or something?
Yeah,
and then some beer. And then, I don't know what.
Some vodka, is it?
Possibly.
Booze.
And then if you scroll down, you can see here, fucking Santa's on his day off, like. So, and then look, and this is how big a deal it was. You're like, Richard, you have picked some lunatic fringe story to highlight how you're against the lunatic fringe. You are a lunatic. I have said the word lunatic because you said the word lunatic. All right, cool. Looking forward to those comments. But there you can see the Social Democratic Minister for Human Rights tweeted. In Czech Republic, obviously, I've decided to buy my sporting outfit in Lidl. Normally, I do not follow their leaflets, but this time their leaflets captured my attention. It became a political event. The Czech Euro MP, Pavel Telika, says, I have not been shopping in Lidl, but I think I will start shopping there after the publication of the leaflet with the black model and the tragic reaction by the Czech public. So just putting that out there, just floating that, because surely if the society that me and Sam and, Americans and British people live in, if it was so racist, why aren't we having those reactions? Right, let's just put all that to bed for a moment. Right, now we can do some fun stuff, a bit of fun, a bit of laughs, a bit of frolic, a bit of banter. That's what the show's about, kinda. It's about whatever I want it to be about, innit? Fuck it, it's the Richard Lewis Show. I'm Richard Lewis. I'll say what I want. So, I'm told. But we got duped. And even though it's not a big deal, I'm going to correct it because it's important to be correct. There was a story we did on one of the previous shows, which was about a landlord installing a coin-operated toilet.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very clever hoax done by one prankster. And you can see this Reddit thread here on the Melbourne subreddit. I thought I'd give an update because I've been contacted by many news and media outlets. My story is being covered by Louis Theroux on his new show. Again, I don't know what to believe anymore. I certainly believe it was the kind of story where media outlets would reach. Not sure if it's in Louis Theroux territory, but whatever. And then basically he made a joke saying that he'd installed a handgun on a chain and I have to pay for the bullets. And now every time I want to flush, I have to shoot the toilet. So he clearly made the story a little bit more crazy, and then he's deleted his Reddit account. But that was the person, and it turned out it was all a prank. It was just a prank. I thought it was a pretty clever one because it was believable. It certainly got me outraged. So there you go. Good job for him on the hoax. And there was another story we covered. Do you like this one, Sam? Remember that? Remember that guy from Starbucks?
Yeah.
Remember him? The one who had a website about gender gap love.
Yeah.
Not gender gap, sorry, age gap love.
Guy with a creepy tash that loves the blotchy stare.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, though, right? So I didn't have a photo of him when we did that story, but then some publication literally found him on Facebook and put it. Just have a look at this, fuck. I mean, come on, is this a joke? This has got to be a hoax. Well, mate. Look at that picture.
He is.
Look at that picture, and it's just side by side. I haven't had a girlfriend in 5 years. Really, mate? Really?
Could never have tell.
Really? And it's just unbelievable. It shows the original post about, how he's been a victim of ageism. It's a clear case of age discrimination. And look, I won't judge anyone on how he looks. That might be a particularly unfortunate photo.
I looked through his Facebook for me. It's gnarly.
Yeah, well, they also linked to that, mate. And here it is. You've got to scroll down, though, because he's got loads of mad things on his wall. And it makes me fucking sad, right? Because, let's look at this. Just look at this, right? Why? Right. So, if I'm a creep, I don't even know what that's about. If I'm a creep, you might want to avoid threatening my female friends with rape after you as an employee, whatever. He's just having a breakdown there. But look at this picture. What's this about? Why do I want to date a woman born in the 1990s so much as a 37-year-old male? I don't know why it's just got a picture of. Is that food of some sort? It looks like a chat.
Wait,
anyway.
where are you seeing this?
Go down on the Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on it. I don't see any of this.
Scroll down, mate. Well, I'll link you to it. I'll link you to what he posted here. It's fucking crazy, dude. There it is. Bring that up, fucker. Right? Why do I want to date women born in the 1990s so much as a 37-year-old male? Well, a conversation with an 18-year-old woman is kind of like having a conversation with a 29-year-old man, and even slightly chubby, nerdy chicks are both gorgeous and interesting. So maybe there's something to a more chromosomally endowed gender with a quicker processing brain in a smaller headspace with a body that produces high amounts of progesterone at a young age, like every other diploid species, in the K-selective mate pattern of integrational love creating a far superior brand of human being. So he explained it.
And here's my PF Changs. Sound.
So he actually explained it away. And then there was another one. Right? This is it, right? And there was a funny fucking reply in this one. Right? So I'll just give you the links now, because I'm guessing you can't see what I can see. I don't know why I can see it. Maybe we're friends. Maybe the cat's out the bag. Maybe I like his website. Right? But just have a read of this one, mate. He's fucking Radio Rentals, mate. How is it that so many Generation Z children wear glasses when it took 3 billion years for single-celled organisms to evolve human brains and then develop a telescope capable of detecting planets with the necessary ingredients for life 3,000 light years away? The enzymes in the skin of older men will make you live longer and happier. Right? From 1912 to 2012, it was the prevailing thought of science that fathers under the age of 35 gave their offspring the strongest DNA for thousands of years before that incest leading to inbreeding was as normal as a date at a restaurant with a cartoon mask.
What's he on about, what?
He's gone, hasn't he?
I don't even know what he's trying to say.
Right? And look, and someone replied to him with this, right? So, on his own Facebook, right? Stab a butchers of that, mate. Says, the face you make when your over 35-year-old semen cures cancer and still nobody wants it. He's getting wrecked in his own backyard. What's he talking about, bud?
Why
He's gone.
Pictures of himself as well, but
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
he's fucked in his face.
Oh, he's really crazy, though.
Look at him, I want to bite in the little cigarette, what? Yeah, see?
Yeah, I know. It's rough, isn't it? And, here's the thing, like, it's like I said, it was all like, I didn't, she flirted with me, and I was just going to reach out to her, and I have a website on Age Gap Love, right?
Mate, he's just got a picture of himself crying.
Alright, bring it up. I gotta have a butchers of this now.
He's just having a cry, man.
I'll bring it up. That's classic, man.
Oh, he's just having a cry.
I don't even know why he's having a cry. That's classic.
Sad.
Sad. Tried to fucking come on to a 16-year-old girl, rejected, police involved. Sad. Unreal, isn't it, mate?
Mate, he just took a picture of his bald spot as well. This guy's lost his mind.
That's about where I'm at, actually.
Yeah, but you ain't documenting it for the internet to watch.
Might do it, Paul. Can.
It'd be good.
New thing. But anyway, I wanted to show you all this, Sam, and obviously the people watching. Because, he's fucked in the face. Like, it doesn't even understand. Right, first of all, everything he said on those image macros are just complete nonsense. Why is it of, like, Chinese food? What's that got to do with it?
Why is he got frostbite?
Incest used to be normal because 35-year-olds have the best semen and enzymes. What the fuck, man?
You are
mental. What are you talking about? So, crazy shit going on there. Anyway, speaking of crazy shit, I did tweet this out, but maybe you didn't see it because, I'm pretty active on Twitter. Lots of stuff's been going on lately as we transition from one year to the other. And I wanted to just show just how ridiculous Twitter itself has got, right? I talk about this all. Are you still laughing at that cunt's face?
There was one of him topless. Then it hit me.
Enough's enough. Show it me, though.
Hang on.
Show it to me. Show it to me. I'll have a look. I'll have a butcher's at this, mate. I want to see if he's in good shape as me.
Yeah,
Got to do something about this pot belly, like.
I can't even fucking
Gonna go to a game.
He's so deep in the streets, like.
Is he?
Yeah, but it's worth it. Definitely worth it, like.
Go on.
I've gone past it. These are all his pro Bernie ones.
Fucking mess with it. Oh, he's pro Bernie as well.
Oh yeah, he's putting Bernie's logo over his naked chest. So
Liberal.
There we go.
Liberal.
There it is.
Here it is. Show it to me.
Look at that.
That's just out of. In there. Why is his head shrinking into his shoulders?
Look, what is this as well? What is this?
American females do not have the right in 2015 when American males have had the right since 1935. To what?
I think he means to be naked. To have it like topless.
Nipples, yeah? Must be to show their nipples.
I guess. Look at the fucking dimensions of him, but
I know,
look at his right tit, right, but the one on the left. Why is it just 3 cup sizes on his right one than the other one?
I don't know what's happening.
It's hanging over the side, but and his head is. Look at one trapped compared to the other side, but he looks like a different human.
He's like
he
that
only lifts one side.
Anyway, we'll have some banter about him later, mate. We'll do that off the show. But anyway, you can see here, right? Twitter talking about it a lot, right? We all know what's going on, and we're gonna get into some stuff with Martin Shkreli in just a bit. But I just wanted to set the tone, right? I've been talking about Twitter and how fucked up it is for God knows how long. And it is fucked up. And they've got this weird double fucking standard, right? And they ban conservatives, they ban right-wingers, they ban Trump supporters. They claim to, ban extremists off their platform. But, if you're advocating for the assassination of white people or the assassination of Donald Trump, it's okay. If you're recruiting for ISIS, it's okay. They just let that shit slide. You come out and say something remotely right-wing or pro-Donald Trump, you got to go. This is verboten. You are not allowed to say these things. So I thought this was interesting. Because, we live in a time, right, where, and the way I described it on my tweet was the cult of fifis. And what I mean by that is that people's feelings and the fake internet outrage that these effete liberal, intelligentsia get to feel, they honestly believe that, like, having their little safe spaces encroached upon is the worst thing that can happen in the world. And this was evidenced on Twitter. You can see here. They now have this thing where they have these news stories and they give a sensitive, material warning for certain types of news. But look here, multiple suicide bombers hit Baghdad, killing dozens. So there's over 100 people killed. You can see here, scenes of an explosion, rubble, carnage, no sensitive material warning there. Shooting in an Istanbul nightclub leaves at least 39 people dead. A shooting. And assailants, that were still on the run at the time of that story going out, right at New Year's Eve. Happy New Year. 60 people killed in a gruesome Brazil prison riot. Not abnormal. Horrible. Overcrowded prisons in Brazil, where sometimes they fake riots or encourage riots to keep the prison population down. And again, there's instances of this to deal with the prison overpopulation problem they've got in Brazil. Well, fuck it. We'll make them all fight to the death, or we'll fake a riot and then we'll go in and butcher them with the paramilitary police. And some inmates, of course, got out. No warning there either. And yet, Leslie Jones calls out publisher over Yiannopoulos book deal. The following may contain sensitive material. Is this fucking real life? Is this real life? Some bit part shit actress, an unfunny fucking comedian who has finally clocked that there's more money in being a professional fucking victim than actually having to hone your craft, hone your talent, and go out and be good at something. She's now realized that because somebody leaked photos of her having the spread, she can now milk that forever. And yet, she doesn't want anyone else to ever get work. Right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you support Yiannopoulos? You a hater. No, I support free speech, actually. I'm pretty big on it. You should be too as a comedian. Because don't think you'll walk that fucking tightrope without getting got. They're on your side now. First time you say something wrong, boom, you're over the precipice. Why do you think so many comedians walk back famous bits of material all of a sudden? Louis C.K. denouncing his use of the word faggot in a bit that he did, peddling a lie on his show that it was because gay people used to be burnt at the stake. Complete myth, complete fabrication, invented again by liberals, well-meaning liberals, to try and stop gay smears. Absolutely nothing in the etymology of that word. In fact, the word faggot used to be used exclusively to describe a woman with a quick temper, typically an old woman with a quick temper, which is how it passed into gay parlance. In fact, the first people to call a gay person a faggot were gay people themselves. Now it's hate speech. But words evolve. Okay, cool. And why can't gamers use it as an insult? Because we've decided it stopped evolving. Fuck off, you're a moron. Get out my face. So Leslie Jones thinks, that the left are going to keep supporting her while she's pushing for non-free speech ideals. And, of course, sensitive material. You might have to hear a story about how Leslie Jones got compared to a dude on Twitter. That's it, by the way. Milo said nothing racist at all. Didn't tell anybody to abuse or harass her. In fact, condemned the abuse and harassment and the computer hacking when that happened, which was also nothing to do with Milo Yiannopoulos, and yet somehow he should be prevented from having a book deal because an actress says so. Well, that's not a dangerous precedent, is it? That's not a dangerous precedent. So should we use that to flow onto the Twitter thing with Lauren Duca?
Yeah, let's do it.
So Lauren Duca, I don't know really a lot about her. I'm not going to lie. What is it she writes for? Isn't it? It's a teen magazine, right?
Vogue, maybe?
Yeah, it might be. Is it Teen Vogue? Let me just check that.
It's been removed from her Twitter, actually.
Yeah, it actually has. Interesting. She's now just turned. She's a freelancer. If I just Google Vogue teen, I wouldn't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, it says a contributing editor at Teen Vogue.
Yeah, so she writes for teenage magazines, and she's been a lot lately trying to weigh in on politics, making it look like her opinions matter, when in actual fact she's a vacuous, celebrity hungry. Part of that disgusting group of journalists that just want to be the celebrities themselves, write about gossip and celebrity culture. The absolute bottom feeders on the journalistic totem pole, which fair enough, it's not a particularly high standard anymore, even if you go all the way up to the top. But there's still good journalists out there, that the profession isn't completely in the toilet. But certainly people like this belong in the toilet. I mean, they're ridiculous. So here's what happened. I'll go to The Guardian. Martin Shkreli. She followed Martin Shkreli, and Martin Shkreli had sent her a personal message saying, I have a +1 to an inauguration that he was heading to if you want to come. And she said, I would rather eat my own organs. And she publicly tweeted out this DM. And Martin Shkreli got upset by it and said, oh, you're a cold you-know-what. And then he changed his profile picture on Twitter, which was to a photoshopped image of him sitting with Lauren Duca on a couch. She was like on his lap. And it's a picture of her husband and her together that she herself has put out into the public domain. And then he also changed his cover photo, the banner at the top of his Twitter, to say, for better or worse, till death do us part, I love you with every single beat of my heart. And it was photographs of Lauren Duca. And his bio was saying, I have a small crush on Lauren Duca, hope she doesn't find out, which proves this is a troll, this is a joke. Right? Obviously, why would you have pictures of her all over your Twitter if you didn't want her to find out about it? So what Duca then did, what Lauren did, was she tweeted these pictures directly to Jack. Exactly how Milo Yiannopoulos got banned. Somebody got involved in a, let's describe it as a meeting of minds. Two adults having a bit of banter back and forth on the internet. One side cries victim, and then Jack comes in, and Twitter decide to suspend one side based not on what's happened, not on who's done what wrong, not on what the platform is meant to be used for, but just on personal politics. And let's be clear, Martin Shkreli's been described as the most hated man in America. He's a known Trump supporter. He has received unilateral criticism. I've criticized him as well for being that sneering face of Big Pharma. I think Big Pharma's a problem. I think when Shkreli comes out and basically tries to say, you know, like if he could have just as easily said, hey, look, I'm operating within the system and elected to gain some sympathy, tell some hard truths. Didn't really want to do that. I think he enjoyed and reveled in being the center of attention and being hated. So Twitter come in, Twitter suspend him, right? And she said in an interview with BuzzFeed that Shkreli inviting her to Trump's inauguration was an act of trolling, right? Again, a clear joke because she's very anti-Trump and has been when you saw her on Tucker Carlson's show. So he invited her via DM, which can only happen, by the way, if you're following each other. And then she says, I didn't see the need to respect his privacy. So she just leaked the DMs public, which is, you know, fairly reprehensible. But again, no one's going to condemn her for it. And then she said she'd never met him, but he'd been harassing her for a while. It's an ongoing thing. He's been actively tweeting about dating me. Yeah, afterwards, as a joke. He hasn't been harassing you for a while. You took it to the public domain first. I don't know if he's encouraging people to do this, but there's been a small contingent of trolls telling me to sleep with him. Is he responsible for that? Again, she tweeted the DMs public. She made it public. Nobody would have known if she hadn't have made them public herself. So they suspend Martin Shkreli. But I find it interesting because while she's out there playing victim and claiming she's harassed, there was tweets in her history that definitely show her to be someone that should fall foul of these rules. Now, first up, Sam, I think I gave it to you. It should be in your history somewhere. But she took a public photo of him. Have you got that tweet?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'll find it.
Don't worry. But anyway, she saw him in a Guy Fieri's restaurant and took an unsolicited photo of him while he sat at a bar and can't believe Martin Shkreli's here. I'm going to leave. Yeah. And that was before any of this. So how isn't that against the rules? Why isn't that harassment? I think I'd feel a little bit put out if I went to a bar or a restaurant and I was just trying to relax, and because I'm a fucking celebrity or whatever, people started taking photos of me and tweeting about how bad it was that I was in that place and I was making them want to leave purely by my presence. That feels like harassment to me. But apparently it's all fair game. It's all fair game because he's a public figure, right? So that's okay. Then, you know, we looked at some of the other things that she said. I mean, she's just fucking sunlight and rainbows, this person. 27th of May, last year, 2016. Friendly reminder that there's an uneven playing field and straight white men are generally trash. Cool, reasonable. Guess that's okay on the Twitter platform. And then she also said, I'm going to fucking kill the next random man that talks to me. And that was just in reply to just somebody responding to, I know, something to do with the story about Hillary or whatever. So she's already done things that far eclipse anything Shkreli did. I don't consider one Photoshop to be harassment in any way, shape, or form, yet he has been suspended from the platform indefinitely because of it. And we all know it's got nothing to do with harassment. He hasn't harassed anybody, of course. It's just because of his personal politics. The fact that, once again, he's a Trump supporter. And then, of course, just at the height of it all, just when people are like, hang on a minute, another person gets censored from Twitter over nothing again. And she's really peddling this idea of, it's Trump-related harassment now. She said she's going to work with Megyn Kelly on a segment. I wonder what Megyn Kelly could possibly have a strong feeling about that for after she left the network. But she put this tweet out, and, you know, come on, talk to the fucking hand. Are you serious? That'll calm the trolls down. Hi, haters. Here's a pic of me living my life. Maybe use your energy on something productive instead. Why are you tweeting then, love? Why don't you use your energy on something productive? Go write another little fucking politics for teenagers, which is about your level, about the intellectual grasp that you have. So Shkreli, of course, is out, is off Twitter, and that still stands at the time of recording this. Let's have some Didn't Happen. Popular segment in the show.
Staple moment. Staple.
I'm definitely calling this one out on the BBC. Remember, of course, that, you know, they condemn that, we shouldn't read too much into everything that's happening with that kidnapping, but we will publish it. This was literally on the front page of the BBC News. The front page. It made it to the front page. So you come onto the BBC.com, doesn't matter where you're from in the world, this will be in the news feed. And it was there. And I saw it, and I couldn't believe it. Headline, we don't tip black people, note to Virginia waitress said. Right? So you can see here a photo of a receipt saying great service, don't tip black people. Right? Now, just definitely putting this out there. If I was in a restaurant, I'd finished my meal, I'd had great service, and I didn't want to tip the people who had provided that service because they were black, I don't think I would write it down on a piece of paper in my handwriting with a receipt for something I've paid for, therefore tying me to the restaurant, the time and place and everything else, given that this could easily be construed as a hate crime. And I don't think there's anyone in the world that would realize that. You know, I definitely wouldn't do that, because then you would get caught and you would be exposed as a racist, and it can have terrible responses to this. No identifying information whatsoever on the receipt, not even an amount balance due, so people could somehow, you know, check it against, you know, a list of whatever. And the description of the person who allegedly left the note, generic as it gets, a white couple who maybe were in their mid-20s. Reasonable. Right? And, you know, this is clearly faked. This is clearly faked. No one's been able to find this individual. So the story blew up because she put it out on social media, and now Miss Carter, the waitress, has been a media darling, and everyone's just assuming this story's true, even though we've seen the spate of hoaxes. And I certainly do not understand this one. It makes no logical sense whatsoever that anybody would have done that. And she says, one hateful remark can't stop me. And then my arms are still opened to them, and said she would serve them again. That's them, not me. You know? And you can see another photo here. Customers suddenly dropped into the restaurant to tip Miss Carter and give her a hug to show them how not racist they are. Definitely not a hoax. Definitely did happen, obviously. What a load of nonsense. Now, you got to play a video for this one, Sam. Okay. And this one, this will fucking blow your fucking mind when you listen to this. Right? So this was a Facebook video on Revelist. And again, thanks to link me to this on Twitter. 4.2 million views this is coming up on. And this is a woman who tells a terrible story about another hate crime that happened and how a police officer was complicit in this hate crime. Just listen to this.
Okay. So this morning, on my way to work, I was almost assaulted by a Trump supporter. I was walking to work and I saw a man probably in his early 60s, and he was selling Trump pins and buttons. And I look at the man and I look at the pins again, And my instinct was to roll my eyes. And then when I turn back at the guy, he looks at me and says, "What?" And then makes a fist like he's gonna punch me. My instinct was to laugh. I laughed and I looked around to see if anyone else saw what just happened. And there was a police officer. There was a white male police officer standing right next to me who did nothing. He just stood there. He just looked at me and then looked away. I came to work and I was in such disbelief of what had just happened. I never thought that it would happen here in New York. I thought I was safe being in New York, being a Latino woman in New York. I thought I was safe, but I guess I'm not. These tears aren't tears of fear. These are tears of anger and frustration and the hardest thing about this is that I don't know if this man will be there tomorrow. I don't know if he'll be there next week, next month. This nation is more divided than ever. And most of us are being blinded by racism and hate and anger and ignorance. Don't let that cover your eyes. Open your eyes, open your brain. Racism comes from fear of the unknown. To my Muslim friends, to my African American friends, to my Latino community, to the LGBTQ community, we are in this together. Make someone feel safe. Remind them that they're not alone. If this can happen here in New York City, I don't even want to imagine what's going on in other states. Please be safe. Be strong. And I love you guys.
Where to begin with this? Well, first of all, mate, right, when she says these aren't tears of fear, right? No, they're tears of butter, right? So, like, fuck off. Like, she can barely even make herself cry. She has to keep taking a break to fake the tears to try and get this, fucking outrage machine going. So where to begin? Right, first of all, she says she's walking down the street. She sees a Trump supporter and her natural instinct was to roll her eyes. I'm going to call you out a little bit here, love. I mean, obviously none of this happened. It didn't happen. But, like, let's just say some of it did. Let's say this is a protracted, exaggerated, skewed version of something that actually did happen. Let's say that. So you went up to a guy who's just busy plying his trade. And because you disagree with his political views, you went up to give him a piece of your mind. Right? Where do you get off on that? What's he doing? He's doing a hard day's work. You're fucking clip-clopping down the fucking street, and you fucking go up to him, and you want to fuck with him because you disagree with his politics. So you brought politics to the table, right? My natural instinct was to roll my eyes. I guess you have to tip your head back for that because it's a bit too much like fucking exercise. So she fucking brought that to the table. Right? Then, I'm supposed to believe this, right? Which one is it, guys? Which lie do we believe? That the police are trigger-happy lunatics that harass and fuck up civilians, especially minorities, or the police don't do anything when they see crimes? I just want to know which lie to believe. Just tell me the lie. Tell me the lie, oh holy liberals. Tell me what lie to believe. Preach to me the lie and I will believe it. But you must get one lie. You've got to pick one. Because, again, it's these contradictions that make you all look so ridiculous. So which one is it? So a guy goes, what? Like, what? We're going to give her the fucking old Rod Hall. No. The claw. Right? Going to fucking give her that. And a guy does that. First of all, why would you? If a policeman stood right there next to her, which is what she said, her words, why would a guy go, yeah, you wouldn't, would you? You'd be fucking copper right over there. Better suck this up, right? Self-preservation. Second of all, she does this, doesn't notice that there's a police officer stood right next to her at the time, and the police officer did nothing. She doesn't say whether or not she reported it or asked the police officer to get involved, just that the police officer did nothing. And of course, very quick to put in this idea that, you know, racism, because she didn't just describe him as a police officer. She said a white male police officer. We all know white males are the scum of the earth, right? So, I mean, you know, a white male police officer. So the implication is that he's a Trump supporter, so he must be a white male because nobody else but white men supported Trump, which is why so many women voted for him, record numbers of Hispanics voted, whatever. But so there was this white male bro code going on. You were going to punch that fat bitch. Yeah, you right, pig. You know?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. And then they just do my fucking longest yeah boy ever, and he moonwalks down the street to go shoot some black people. Yeah, boy. Suspect is armed.
This is Trump's America now.
Yeah. It's just nonsense. Like, definitely didn't happen. Then she says, and this is a wonderful just example of the liberal mindset. And people say to me, you know, oh, but Richard, when you did your post-election breakdown, you know, you said a lot of things, and I just don't really feel it. I don't really feel that these people are elitist. She said, I thought I was safe in New York, I guess. But that's not true. If it can happen to me here in New York, I dread to think what's happening in other states. That's what she says. Let me deconstruct what she's saying for you, because you might have missed it. You might have thought that's an innocuous statement. She's a liberal. She's having a little preach. So the cities, the multicultural cities of America, they are the bastions of truth and freedom and enlightenment. And only those cities. And they've got multiculturalism down. I mean, forget all the fucking terrible crime waves that are happening in these places. I mean, shit, you know, forget that. Forget the crime statistics, dummy. It's New York. It's better than you. It's better than you if you live in middle America. It's better than you if you live in a red state. And she says, I dread to think what's happening in other states. What she means is the South. Because we all down here, let's go get ourselves to a lynching, boy.
I got my gun. Boo-ba-doo-boo.
I don't know. I'm a little tired from fucking all them pigs, but I suppose I got time to go get me a black. That's what they think the South is like. The fucking nerve. I dread to think what's happening in those other uneducated states, the ones that don't let minorities in. Have you been to Mississippi? Morons, elitist morons that want to condemn you from not being from the same city as them. Then they talk about tolerance. Then they talk about acceptance. Absolute fucking scumbags. And then, like, say, to just be like, oh God, I gotta keep fucking hell crying's hard, like out of breath from fucking crying. You know. And then it's like, you know, at the end, we're all in this together. Islam, African America, LGBTQ, my Latino. You don't necessarily all have overlapping issues. Just to put that out there. You know, be strong. Don't be racist. Racism is a fear of the unknown. Again, you brought race to the table on this story, darling. Was it about Trump or was it about race? Which one is it? You're conflating the two. 4.2 million views of this nonsense. 4.2 million people have consumed this and thought, yeah, that happened. It's bullshit. So another little fucking vacuous narcissist has figured out how to go viral. That's all it is. Let's make up a story about how I was abused by Trump and film me trying to cry in my best hoopy earrings. This is nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. It didn't happen. Absolute fucking lies. Now, you'll fucking have to handle this bit, Sam. I don't even know why it's in the show. But have you ever gone to tweet something and you've made a bit of a typo?
Yeah.
You know, it's happened, right? How bad a typo do you think you could realistically make? Yeah, how bad could it be, right? Come on.
What's the worst type work of it? I don't know. Why have you put me in this trap? Because now I've just got to say something ridiculous.
Well, no, I'm just saying, right? I mean, there's only a handful of titles that could really go bad. Well, Yahoo Finance, and I love that Yahoo's in disarray. It's getting sold. The CEO's off the fucking board after firing men because, fucking men are evil. White men are scum. This is a CEO, by the way, at a company that fucking actually tried to drive men out to encourage diversity. So discriminated against people based on gender to stop discrimination against people based on gender. So, right? This is the circular insanity of the left where it is right now. So Yahoo Finance, right, responding to what Donald Trump had said. Donald Trump said he wanted to expand the Navy. So he wanted a bigger Navy. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, Sam. Do you use a QWERTY keyboard?
Yeah.
It's called a QWERTY keyboard because, the letter keys, the first 6 letter keys are QWERTY. Mm-hmm. And different people use different key formats around the world, but that's the most popular. That's the one you'll find in English. Now, if you look down on the bottom row of letters, just above the space bar, you'll see the letter B.
Yeah.
Do you see the letter B? Do you see what's next to the letter B?
Yeah.
Not on the left, because that's V.
Yeah,
and that would have been fine. Vigor would have been fine. But it's N.
Yeah.
B and N. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the Liberals will actually make a movement to move the N key away from the B key after this. Because Yahoo accidentally tweeted out, not bigger Navy. They tweeted out N-word Navy. And I want you to let that sink in, that Donald Trump, the most racist man since Hitler, wanted to have. It's beyond a joke.
And then everyone who read it is like, did he actually say that? Oh, did he actually say that? Is this a joke?
It's unreal, but... And I can't read these, but if you want to just scroll down and have a look at some of the responses, you can read them if you want.
Well, I got them. We'll see like pictures. There we go. Yahoo Finance's social media correspondent.
Yeah, look at him. Yeah. Every time the Navy sinks a battleship, someone yells "World Star."
You know we can't swim, right? That's a pretty good one. We gotta go to war. You got gas money.
Unbelievable, isn't it, mate? Oh, unfucking believable, man. And look at that, Yahoo Finance. We deleted an earlier tweet due to a spelling error. We apologize for the mistake. Yeah, you fucking...
Due to us being dribblers.
Yeah. So, a good point that what they tweeted was more racist than anything Donald Trump himself had actually ever said. And there you go. I saw this story, mate. I saw this story and it just made me fucking roll my eyes. Again, I tweeted about this. This is the saddest thing I've ever fucking seen. This is hands down the saddest thing I've ever seen. I could picture you doing something like this, brother. I wouldn't let you. No, listen, I'd have an intervention. I'd stop you doing this because I love you that much, man.
All right.
This is a cosmopolitan. I remember cosmopolitan's a fucking joke now as well, riddled with identity politics and bullshit. Why I married myself. These women dedicated their lives to self-love. Now, if anyone is familiar with the work of Chris Morris, the great British satirist, filmmaker, radio host, and comedian, he actually used to have a radio show called Blue Jam. Blue Jam was fucking great. It was incredible. I've got all the recordings of it. It's one of my, favorite pieces of work he produced. Incredibly dark sketches done, through audio only, conjuring like very, crazy images, like people having acupuncture with 9-inch nails and that kind of thing. and pointing out the absurdity in where modern society was going. And then I got commissioned to have a TV show, which was just called Jam. It did 6 episodes on Channel 4, back when Channel 4 had balls and used to actually commission good television. And one of the sketches in it was a guy marrying himself. And, because he's such a fucking pathetic loser. And now it's happening. I mean, it's really happening. People are really doing this. And just look at this fucking ceremony. Just look at the picture of the ceremony. On the far left, you've got Carl the cook. Maybe you look there. Not the skinhead. Not Carl Pilkington's rocked up. But Carl the cook's there. You're a fucking white male. Fucking hair flick of the Gestapo with the fucking comb over there. Don't know what he's doing. Yeah. He's got a blog about age gap love. And then the rest of them just like, fucking hell, come on. Girls, don't encourage this madness. Like, what are you doing? Have a fucking intervention. You're all round in a circle. You got her cornered. Tell her to fucking stop this. Like, just
inject someone into her neck and take it to a facility.
Yeah. And just look at it as well. Think about the most special day of your life. Yeah, I'll have a backdrop of fucking Urban Decay, please.
I'll have offices, please.
Yeah, I'll have Urban Decay.
She's got married in Slough.
Yeah. Betjeman would be spinning in his grave. So ridiculous. And you can read. There's some fucking belters in here, mate. It's a pretty long piece. So I don't want to read the whole thing, but there are some fucking crackers in here. Let me see if I can dig some out. All right. Look at this. On the rooftop of a Brooklyn apartment building this past spring, Erica Anderson put on a vintage-style white wedding dress, stood before a circle of her closest friends, and committed herself to herself. I mean, I think she should just be committed. That's what I think.
To
but whatever.
An asylum.
Yeah, and committed herself to an asylum. I choose you today, she said. Later, she tossed the bouquet to friends and downed 2 shots of whiskey, one for herself and one for herself. I mean, this is fucking unreal. Is this like a justification for everything you do wrong in your life? Like, I'll be having a pint. I better have another pint. One for me, one for me. She got the mentally 2 Ronnies in her fucking head. Yeah, just straight mentally ill. She had planned the event for weeks, sending invitations, finding the perfect dress, writing her vows, buying rosé and fresh baguettes and fruit tarts from a French bakery. For the decor, an array of shot glasses emblazoned with the words "you and me," in each one a red rose. It wasn't an easy decision. She noted on the wedding invitations, I had cold feet for 35 years, but then I decided it was time to settle down and get myself a whole damn apartment to celebrate birthday number 36 by wearing an engagement ring and saying yes to me. Man. I even made a registry because this is America. Yeah. So she actually married herself. And, the good news is, I mean, we haven't gone completely mad. There's no tax breaks or anything for marrying yourself. You can't do it as a tax dodge. It talks about how marriage is on the decline and everything. And, look, here's the real fucking tragedy of it all. This is this idea that you have to like try and contextualize just being happy with your own existence. It's absurd, isn't it? You have to contextualize just being you. It's like you've got to say to all your friends, okay, I'm 36, I'm not married, but I'm not a failure. Look, look how cool I am with it. Why? What's the beef? What's the problem? Why? Is there like some fucking checklist you have to go through to be successful? Is that what it is? You have to tick all the fucking boxes on the way down. So there was another thing here as well. There was some vows. I think this is a different woman, but have a look at these vows. I will never leave myself. I promise to ask for help when I am suffering. I promise to look in the mirror every day and be grateful. I promise to give you the incredible life that you long for. Love, let me tell you, if you're marrying yourself to justify that you're not a loser, life's not that incredible, is it? It's hardly fucking you know, to be frank, join the army, you know, windsurfing everywhere. And that is, you're not James Bond, are you? Let's be real. So, but the thing is as well, like, this isn't even the first instance of it. There was one way back in 2014, and it was reported in The Guardian. Again, leftists. You gotta love the idea that what the left pushes about how, like, yeah, you didn't fit into society, but it's okay. You know, we can all. It's fine. You're right. Everyone else is wrong. And I don't even mind. I don't think you need to justify just being like, just do it, like, but don't make a big fucking song and dance about it. 2014, Guardian, writing this creepy bullshit. Got a photo of her tossing a fucking bouquet to a gaggle of fucking women who were all thinking, please let this never happen to me. Please never let me be reduced to this. They're catching that bouquet. I wouldn't want it. It's fucking tainted, isn't it? What, you're going to be the next to marry yourself? Fuck off. But just, again, just absolute fucking nonsense. I remember when liberals used to be cool, when liberalism was the counterculture, you know? And now liberals are just fucking losers. Like, what happened? Like, when did you become a bunch of, like, gender fluid, male feminist, self-marrying prats? When did that happen?
The mental cunt of the student union is now setting the agenda. That's basically what has happened. Yeah,
you're right, actually. You're right. Yep, that mental cunt who we all... Yep, he's gone for the floor again in the forum. Let's listen to what he's got to say. Yeah, they're all out to get you, mate. The fillings in your teeth are telling you the government's going to get you. No problem, mate. Because we humoured them, because we were cool. Now we humoured them so much, they're running shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a joke that's gone too far. Like, all right, so when are we going to tell them they're mental?
Yeah, when do we tell them that everything they believe is absolute nonsense? I don't know now. We're in the minority now. They've been breeding. You know, they've been breeding. There's too many of them. They've recruited. Oh,
they're
Lord
immune
alive.
to logic. What do?
Right. Let's you know, yeah. All right, come on, we'll fit it in. Cause I'll step it up now. We've been a bit leisurely here, mate. We did put together a good show. Wendy's in trouble because Pepe is still racist. Like, they refuse to give up. They refuse to give up that the cartoon frog is racist. Oh, I didn't even show you this, actually. You'll enjoy this, mate.
Is it the Russian embassy tweet?
No. Just before we even get into it, I just want to say how happy I am. Right. That let me find this for you, because I was really pleased about this, and I haven't shown you this yet. Someone made a Richard Lewis Pepe, right? And it was on the meme economy subreddit, and they asked, "Is a Richard Lewis Pepe rare or worthless?" It's a good question. And you can see how I'm described by the person who made it. He said, Richard Lewis, esports investigator, writer for Breitbart, professional choker, and guy who breaks down mild drama on YouTube. So there you go. I've got my own.
Rare, apparently, mate. Not bad.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Decently rare. Thank you, Dank Cumbers. I'm happy with that. So anyway, just before we get into it, now that I'm endorsing a depiction of myself, I'm a racist, obviously. I'm a mad racist. You know, despite the fact I'm just, everything I've just said this entire show, I'm a racist. I've got a Pepe now, so I must be a racist, right? all right. So anyway, yeah, just colour that green.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, they're still trying to push this idea that Pepe's racist, and it's just fucking. It's not right. It's a cartoon frog. It's never been racist. It's not racist. If anyone tells you it's racist, laugh in their face. Do not humor these mentally ill people, because that's what they are. So Wendy's, you know, they make burgers and stuff. They did a tweet. Got any memes? I think it was, or something. And they did the Wendy's girl in the logo with the pigtails as a Pepe, right, which is pretty cool. But of course, the outrage police, wee-oo, they're in the house, right? The outrage police. Wendy's just tweeting and deleted this. And you can see in this report over on Fusion.net, the Pepe meme which began as a character in an online comic, has been so wholly co-opted by the internet-dwelling, unrepentant racists of the so-called alt-right that the Anti-Defamation League has added the frog to its database of hate symbols. They did do that, and they did that under strong political pressure from the DNC and the Hillary Clinton camp. And let me just read you again. I've read this before. I'll read it again because Fusion.net might want to, factor this in next time they do their clickbait. That's right, Catherine Kruger. No relation to Freddie, I hope. But let's just have a look. Says here on the ADL webpage itself, however, because so many Pepe the Frog memes are not bigoted in nature, it is important to examine the use of the meme only in context. Right? Let's go back to Wendy's. Context. You're advertising beef burgers. Not racist. What's the problem? What's the problem? And you can even see Wendy's again. Why? Why are you giving in to these people? Wendy's, please. Please, corporate America, please. Some sense. Wendy's, our community manager was unaware of the recent evolution of the Pepe meme's meaning, and the tweet was promptly deleted.
I like what she says, according to his or her. Well, let's be real, it's definitely a his. So.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Whoever runs the account, a person who presumably makes a living spending what looks like every waking moment on Twitter. You mean a social media manager, yeah? That is their job, yeah. That is their job, yeah. So that they're actually being super professional, spending every waking moment on Twitter. Apparently didn't know that according to his or her, but let's be real, it's definitely a his, bosses. So yeah, after deleting the meme, Wendy started tweeting this statement at users. And then look, never forget, brands are not your friends. Right. Fuck you, Fusion. Fuck you, Catherine Kruger. I hope next time you're eating a fucking Wendy's burger, someone has to give you a fucking Heimlich maneuver, you fucking idiot. That's a fucking joke, innit? Brands are not your friends. No, you know who's not my friends? People who don't allow brands to actually engage with internet culture because you've decided it's somehow fucking racist. People who attack Cinnabon for trying to fucking pay tribute to Carrie Fisher. Ah, how dare you? How dare you? Yeah, if they came out, if a brand comes out and says, fuck Donald Trump, you all go, yeah, woo, keeping it real, woo. You like that shit, don't you?
Meryl Streep, woo.
Yeah, woo.
Fuck MMA for no reason.
Brands are your friends then, aren't they? Scum. And then, this is what they did, you see, mate. Then it's definitely racist now. Because there was all this issue, right? The Russia and US, as we know, with Putin and Trump, we know that there's going to be an alliance there. We know that these are world leaders who get along. Trump's been very vocal about wanting to beat ISIS together with Russia, wanting to have good Russian relations again, which bizarrely is off the table. Bizarrely, this is a bad thing. I remember when I was growing up in the 80s and we were all talking about the Cold War and the Cold War Thaw, and then everyone was like, yeah, this is great. Yeltsin, he's drunk and he's friends with Slick Willie Bill Clinton, and everybody liked it then. Everyone liked Russia and America then. Everyone liked Rocky IV. You know? If I can change, you can change. Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. Everyone liked that. Everyone liked that way better. You know? People forget politics, dude. They airbrush shit all the time. Watch the original version of Rambo 3. Do you know what the dedication to Rambo 3 is?
No. What is it?
Dedicated to the brave people of Afghanistan. Do you know why?
Why?
Because they were fighting the Russians. Right? So it was okay then. Brave people, Afghanistan. Now, jihadi scum. It's weird. Swings and roundabouts, right? But anyway, you know, it was all right then. There was a good idea that America and Russia were coming together, and we had loads of crossover stuff. You know, Raw Deal, not Raw Deal. Yeah, no, not Raw Deal. Red Heat. Schwarzenegger movie where he played a Russian with a suspiciously Austrian accent. Does have a great bit where he rips off someone's artificial leg, opens a stump, pours out a bunch of cocaine, and goes, "Cocaine." Straight at the camera. Classic banter. Loved it. Anyway, so there's been this Russia-US thaw going on. And the media don't like it. They don't like it. And they're doing all they can because they want to disrupt Trump, and they're trying to make out that he's a Russian spy and all this nonsense. And they just don't want it. Russia rigged the election. Didn't. The Democrats just lost it because they're corrupt idiots, incompetent at their own corruption. And so the Russian embassy actually put this tweet out, and it said and it had a Pepe in it. It is the first ever state-sponsored Pepe, the rarest of all Pepe. It said, in today's papers, pundits call on Theresa May to disrupt possible Russia-US thaw. No trust in Britain's best friend and ally.
I was hoping for the Pepe where he wears the little Russian hat thing.
Would have been good.
Yeah, that
would have been good. Sukabliat would have been good. Yeah, wasn't there. So you're like, well, that's brilliant. I mean, again, this is part of the reason why when a recent polls, American people trust Russia more than their own fucking government and more than the mainstream media. Right. And this is why they're actually, the people that are doing this, they seem to be more tech savvy. Isn't that weird that they've got a better handle on the internet than America themselves? The American government and the Democrats, having a password set as password, and I'm wondering why they get fucking hacked. And I'm off for a bit of spirit cooking, Yep, stick a jet of jizz in my fucking apple pie. That'll help me win an election. You're fucking mentally ill, mate. Anyway, so the Daily Mirror, which is an absolute fucking rag and a half now, Russian embassy tweets racist cartoon frog meme to Theresa May. And look, not content with saying that it's definitely racist, they make their own picture using the racist symbol. And look at Putin. Hey, what's up, Pepe?
Just chilling.
Just chilling with my Pepe homie. The Russian embassy, this is by someone called Mikey Smith, right? The Russian hey, it's your boy.
His party name in.
It's your boy Mikey. It's your boy Mikey. Just have a look at him, by the way. Click on his face and have a look at the clip on him.
So sniff.
He doesn't even look like he's gone through fucking puberty yet, mate.
What's happened there?
And he says he's a political reporter.
Look at the big pieces he put out recently, man. Yeah. Little girl reunited with toy bunny lost in Westminster after 6 months search. He's big. He's big. He's a big political writer. Mikey Smith, cutting edge stuff. So anyway, the Russian embassy today tweeted a racist frog meme to Theresa May, seemingly mocking her over relations with Donald Trump. The official Twitter account of the embassy in the UK tweeted a picture of Pepe the Frog, a cartoon character declared a hate symbol by the Anti-Defamation League. And again, no mention of the fact that it's got to be contextual. The character was increasingly used by the so-called alt-right segment of the white supremacist movement, particularly in support of Donald Trump ahead of the 2016 presidential election. The Russian embassy's tweet was accompanied by the message in today's paper, pundits call on Theresa May to disrupt possible Russia-US thaw. No trust in Britain's best friend and ally. And then it talks about how, the origins of the frog, which has nothing to do with racism. And it goes, the character Pepe the Frog originally appeared in Boys Club, an online comic written by Matt Fury, he must be suicidal. He must be on suicide watch. He's just made a nice, fun cartoon frog for people to enjoy. You have now created the most racist symbol since the swastika. Congratulations. No, but look, it's a fucking frog. Yeah. No, not anymore. He's just doing things. Yeah, but you see that? I've drawn a Nazi uniform on him, so it's racist now. But in recent years, it has been claimed by racist elements online and increasingly used as a dog whistle. This is how you also know if someone's just a fucking absolute leftist, intellectually stunted piece of shit. When they refer to things as dog whistles, dog whistles. Only racists know. Only racists can hear it, and it looks innocuous, but they can hear it and know it's racist. Fuck off, dog whistle, you fucking cunt. For white supremacy and anti-Semitism.
Last year, the Anti-Defamation League teamed up with Fury in an effort to reclaim Pepe, not what happened. Creating the Save Pepe online campaign, encouraging people to tweet images of Pepe in a positive context. Positive like this, maybe. The deplorables, retweeted all the people that, played a part in the election cycle, including Pepe as Donald Trump. Was that not positive? No, that was racist, that one. So, and you can see Donald Trump's son, Donald Jr., hasn't deleted it from Instagram. Yeah, because you're just mentally ill, mate. Saying, you could point to a fucking chair and say that it's a fucking race car. Guess what? It ain't. You're just mentally ill. End. Discussion ends. That's it. You're mentally ill. You are the problem, not me, not the chair, not the cartoon frog. The voices in your head. That's the problem, right? So let's have a look at some other just leftist nonsense, and we'll piece the fuck out, right? So, what do you think on Bloomberg? They ran an article. No boys allowed is the new rule of co-working spaces. This is talking about tech companies, of course. Women are craving, community connection and confidence, and that's what we're going to give them. So the only way women, can operate in media, in tech, is to exclude men from the working space. That's how you encourage integration and break down the gender gap, by excluding one gender. And again, there you go. You can just I won't read the whole thing because it's all garbage, but this is what they're pushing, and you can see this is a great idea. Yeah, brilliant, love it. Let's exclude men. That's that'll help. Then there was this Vice, of course. Vice, they know this is the tonic vertical. I'm black, and my doctor should be too.
One of the most racist things I've ever heard.
Yep. Apparently, if you're a white doctor, you can't operate on black patients because somehow there's something in medicine that means you have unique shit that you should be able to talk. So it's this idea that, women who have specific biological needs might want a female doctor, or because of privacy reasons. Now we're extending that to race. Put it this way. If I'm doubled up in agony and I've got a fucking problem, I don't care what color my doctor is. Just get whatever's killing me out of my body, please, and do it as fast as you can, and we're going to be coup de fucking la.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just save my life, mate.
Yeah, save my life. Yeah. And you can see here talking about how, like, this one person had an experience where she said that they got a black doctor and it was just better all round. The difference was like night and day. So treated me more human and stuff. And then just weird shit, right? They did this study, right? A 2015 study by the Psychology and Family Medicine Departments of the University of Virginia explored bias in pain perception and treatment and false beliefs about biological differences between blacks and whites. So the study recruited white laypersons, which is obviously just the average guy on the street, white medical students, and white residents. And the regular white folk were asked to judge on a 4-point scale the level of pain they'd experience in 18 different scenarios, like getting a paper cut or slamming your hand in a car door. They were then asked what level of pain a black or white person of the same sex in the same scenario would experience. Right. Next, they were asked to respond to 15 statements about biological differences between races. Black people have thicker skin than white people, which isn't true. White people are less prone to strokes, which is true. Black people have stronger immune systems, which is false. And they had to rate it on a 6-point scale. And apparently, the laypersons held like these, crazy beliefs. Got to say, as a study, that's pretty leading, isn't it? If a university is asking you, what do you think about black people having thicker skin than white people? You're probably going to be like, oh, well, maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah, if you brought it up, I guess they do.
Yeah, and equally, I mean, you can't talk about certain things like, bone density, and people have tried to explain why black people might be superior athletes. Ooh, no, stereotyping. Oh God, you've done it. You've gone racist. Why?
Oh yeah, that old racist thing where they say your body's better designed. That old chestnut.
Yeah, that old.
I hate that racism. You're good at stuff. Bloody outrage.
Yeah, that's how it works, mate. Because even positive stereotypes are diminishing, is what they say. So on it goes. But the bottom line is, as you'd expect, white people can't be trusted to operate on black people, even when they're fully trained medical professionals. And as a result of this, black people should have the right to a black doctor. So there you go. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's pretty racist, actually. I couldn't imagine doing it the other way around either. I couldn't imagine if a black person came into the room and I said, "Hey up, mate. I'm a white guy. I got, white.
Can I have a white doctor, please?" Yeah, that would go down okay, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't want that finger up my ass feeling my prostate. Thank you very much, mate. You know what I mean? I want a white guy doing that to me. Like,
as this describes, I want the dusty, ice-hearted surgeon, please, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I don't give a fuck, mate. Straight up, like.
Give me the dust, man.
I am fucking sick. Make me better, please. I don't care what your skin color is, because I am.
When my appendix exploded, I didn't really care who was cutting it out.
Yeah, like, ah!
I can feel the poison.
The only doctor we've got's black. Oh, I'll be all right.
I'll walk it off. Oh, I've got any paracetamol left.
Yeah. Madness. Another thing that I thought was interesting, didn't blow up, of course. These things, they never really do blow up, do they, when they should. This was... Oh, actually, let's go to this just Facebook thing on The Guardian first, because it ties neatly to this other idea of race, and then we'll end on the other one. But look, The Guardian on Facebook. Are you racist? No isn't a good enough answer.
So?
Now, if you say no to being racist, you're still racist. We can pull off being non-racist by being asleep in bed while black men are killed by police. We need to stop being non-racist and start being anti-racist. So it's not just enough. You know that old expression?
What a trick question.
It's mad, isn't it?
The moral lapse.
It's not just enough. Be the change you want to see in the world. Remember that? You've heard that, right?
Yeah.
Be the change you want to see in the world. So you go out and you behave the way you
treat others as you want to be treated.
Treat others as you want to be treated, right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's not good enough now. And now I have to spend my day campaigning and being an activist. I have to actually go to war with other groups that may or may not exist to get the approval of minority groups that are put upon. Otherwise, they will look at me with disdain. Why? What the fuck? Can't I just be nice to you? Can't I just treat you like humans? Is that okay? Is that... I'm not allowed in the club anymore? I'm not allowed in the treehouse? What the fuck? What happened? Nope. Guardian said it. What a fucking rag. I've become an absolute... I wouldn't wipe my ass with the Guardian now. Like, it's fucking unreal, like, legit. If I'd gone out and had a fucking super hot fucking Vindaloo and 10 cans of fucking Tennant Super...
Guinness.
Yeah,
right, churner.
10 pints of Guinness. Woke up that day, had a fucking cup of coffee, right? A real big strong one with a couple of fucking soft-boiled eggs, right? And then I went to the toilet and fucking on my signal unleashed hell on that fucking ball. Right? With just all colours and
dirty the porcelain to the point of never being clean again.
Yeah, just to the point where it's so malformed, it doesn't even come out in a straight line. It just curves up the cheeks, up the butt, just smearing it like a newborn baby in a fucking nappy. I still wouldn't wipe. If the only thing in the room was the fucking Guardian to wipe my ass on, I'd take my fucking boxes off.
I'd be crawling around the floor like a dog with worms.
And just sacrifice them to the god of Shkreli. Like, they're just gone, mate. Fuck the Guardian, mate. What a joke. Right, Daily Mail. This is the important, listen and believe, right? We've got to listen and believe that if there's loads of places now doing this, by the way, Google, it's terrifying, that to try and get an increase in rape convictions, they are now lowering the the evidentiary barrier. We're now saying that we don't need evidence that we actually want in cases of rape and sexual assault to treat the perpetrator as guilty until proven innocent. And actually, in fact, in instances of date rape now in some countries, and this was a report in the Telegraph, which, hang on, I might get it for you because it ties up. Basically, men have to say that, a woman said yes. And these are new. This was going on in 2015.
What? So you have to prove that you did not rape them?
Yeah, basically, in instances of date rape, what they want to do is they want to change the law, so you have to prove they consented, not that they didn't.
The old switch of the burden of proof classic.
Right. Yeah. So you are effectively guilty until proven innocent should an allegation come in. Well, I'm going to just show you the danger of that and why we shouldn't change that at all. You can see here that basically what they've gone for is, hang on, I'm just trying to bring up the headline. This is a story about a Fort Worth police officer, as reported in the Daily Mail. Ended up serving 21 years in prison for raping a 13-year-old girl. So he's a police officer. He's had to go to prison. You know what that means, mate. We've all seen Oz.
Digs!
Yep, digs every day, bummings every day. Brian Franklin has been raped in prison, right? I think that's a safe bet because the American prison system is fucking wild. And if you end up in an American prison, chances are you're going to get fucking cornholed. You will get raped because they like it to be a power thing out there. Doesn't happen in UK prisons. Whatever. So this 13-year-old girl said he raped and gave testimony. That was enough to convict him. There was no DNA. So it all hinged on her testimony, and she admitted 21 years later, just had a lie, just made it up.
That's fucking mental.
So he's done 21 years inside.
I hope she goes to prison, though.
21 years. So, pretty crazy, right?
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So, listen and believe, folks. Listen and believe. So we can send innocent people to jail for 21 years, ruin their lives, the one life they'll get on this planet, based on people's lies. And and people have to understand, it is way more important to have guilty people go free than it is for innocent people to go to prison. That is the cornerstone of any good judicial system. So, nice little note to end upon. But that is where we will end, because it's been a long show again, because we had lots to go over. So you're better now, mate. I already said that you were,
Wasn't that bad, just had a massive fucking grotesque toothache. I was actually supposed to fly to Atlanta the day of, so I had to change my flight, went to the dentist, and first of all he said he wouldn't rip it out, because apparently if you have an infection they don't like to remove it. I don't know why, maybe it makes it worse. But I said, if you don't remove it, I'm just going to overdose on painkillers. Because I took double the dose yesterday, and I was being sick from the paracetamol ravaging my organs.
Yeah. Good man.
And then he said, all right then, yeah, I guess we'll rip it out.
So you just had a tooth out?
Yeah,
good,
them all out, mate.
Good for you, buddy.
Good for me.
So, happy for you, mate. I'm glad you're better. So that's the end of the Richard Lewis show. Don't know when we'll do another one. Obviously, the major's coming up, so I'm going to try and get some content up in the queue, but with preparations, it can be difficult. But we do appreciate you watching it. We're going to set up an interview. We have been teasing this for ages. I think we're getting closer to doing it. Ian Miles Chong from Heat Street, he's going to be coming on the show at some point to talk about some stuff. I think that'll be good. And hopefully that'll be the next show. But if not, there's plenty more to talk about because the world is insane. So make sure you take care. Make sure you don't get sucked into the madness and the insanity. And thanks a lot for watching. And, of course, we'll see you on the next episode.